Episode 50. The man in gray gripped his sword with both hands and leapt into the air, his face devoid of fear. He swung the blade, its edge a streak of light, and brought it down in a vicious slash against the gray radiance. But in the next instant, the gray-robed man plummeted from the air to the ground, staggering and stumbling back several steps. He then spat out a mouthful of blood, his expression turning utterly haggard. The tip of his longsword, the first 3 inches, was gone, leaving the blade blunt and flat. The gray light, struck by this blow, fell from the air like a bird that had been shot down. Yet even so, the gray radiance had not dimmed. It continued to pulse and writhe upon the ground, brimming with a vibrant, sentient energy.
We lost. We lost.
Gray radiance is down. It's broken. Does this mean we've lost? An immortal can actually be defeated? The scholar was overjoyed. He glanced at the gray-robed man fleeing into the distance, then looked at the dwarf. After a moment's hesitation, he drifted through the air, heading straight for the dwarf. He decided to deal with the greater threat first. Before the scholar could float more than a few steps away, a loud shout from the gray-robed man suddenly rang out behind him.
Get down!
The scholar's heart lurched. He was about to move when a chill shot through his neck. A gray light flashed before his eyes. Then he saw a headless body run forward a few steps before he collapsed to the ground. That silhouette, it looks so familiar. The scholar had just reached that thought when he completely lost consciousness. Golden Light Immortal was brimming with arrogance. He commanded the gray streak of light, which had leaped up from the ground once more, to fly toward the sole survivor among the 3 masters, the man in gray. He was quite pleased with himself for having dispatched the scholar with such a simple trick. Just as he was considering finishing off the man in gray and then immediately slaughtering the rest of the 7 Mysteries sect, he suddenly heard a voice from the crowd opposite. "I quite like this flying thing of yours. How about you give it to me to play with?" Before the words had even faded, he felt a surge of immense spiritual power latch onto the gray light, violently severing his connection to the artifact and wresting control from his grasp. The gray streak that had been flying toward the gray-robed man now curved in mid-air, wobbling erratically as it veered off toward the crowd opposite. Wherever the gray streak went, people panicked and scrambled to get out of its way. Only one young man, ordinary-looking and seemingly no older than 17 or 18, remained where he stood. The young man flashed a smile at Golden Light Master, revealing a set of teeth that were startlingly white against his dark skin. Then he pointed at the gray light, and it obediently settled into his palm.
You little bastard.
The dwarf's heart turned to ice, his face instantly draining of all color. When the crowd saw the gray light turn and fly toward the 7 Mysteries sect disciples, they thought the dwarf had changed his mind, planning to slaughter the weaker martial artists first before returning to deal with the man in gray. But then, the gray light flew into the crowd, only to be effortlessly caught by a seemingly ordinary disciple with a casual flick of his wrist. This is simply unbelievable. On the side of the 7 Mysteries sect, everyone from Sect Master Wang to the man in gray was both shocked and overjoyed by this miraculous turn of events.
My decision to let Han Li participate in the death duel was truly a stroke of foresight. It seems all our hopes now rest on this suddenly inscrutable Dr. Han.
Li Feiyu was also left speechless with shock. He knew his friend was a bit unusual, but to actually snatch away a sword immortal's flying blade on the spot, it felt like a waking dream. Countless gazes, filled with fear, doubt, and astonishment, all fell upon Han Li. Han Li's expression remained perfectly natural, a faint smile playing on his lips the entire time. Yet no one knew that beneath Han Li's unflappable exterior, he was inwardly fuming.
Good heavens, I never intended to strike now. My plan was to wait for the dwarf to let his guard down and drop that golden shield, then ambush him from behind. I could have just snuck up behind him and finished him off with a single fireball. But I saw that gray light darting around, and my fingers just itched. Before I knew it, I'd used the mist-dispelling art and snatched the thing away without any trouble at all. What a shame.
Han Li simply extended his magic power into the gray light, effortlessly erasing the dwarf's spiritual presence and establishing his own connection with it. Under his command, the gray light wobbled over to him like a toddler learning to walk, and he smoothly took it in hand. Han Li was inwardly pleased at having so easily seized the other's treasure, yet at the same time he felt a twinge of apprehension at having to face the dwarf head-on.
Honestly, I don't have much confidence I can force my way through his turtle shell. The only thing that gives me any confidence is my magic power, which is several times deeper than his.
Han Li toyed with the newly acquired treasure. The gray radiance in his hand still pulsed with a life of its own, its cold light shimmering and shifting, making its true form impossible to discern. Han Li glanced up at the dwarf, whose face had gone pale, and gave a slight smile. He channeled his magic power to envelop his hands, then pressed the gray radiance between his palms and gave it a gentle rub. The light on the gray radiance instantly dissipated, revealing its true form. It was a talisman, and a peculiar one at that, depicting a small gray sword. The gray miniature sword etched onto the talisman paper was so lifelike it seemed to breathe, shimmering with a faint, flowing light as if it were a true peerless blade, its cold aura palpable. Han Li saw this, but
This isn't a flying sword or any other kind of magic treasure. It's just a talisman, albeit a strange one. But this talisman just showed its power. It'll definitely come in handy for me later.
Han Li casually tucked the talisman into his robes. He certainly wasn't going to use it right in front of its original owner. The golden light master opposite him stared, dumbfounded, as Han Li pocketed his treasure. He was burning with fury, yet he lacked the courage to step forward and fight. After all, the fact that the other party could so easily erase the magic power from his talisman meant their cultivation was at least several times deeper than his own. He truly didn't have the courage to fight. Seeing the dwarf cower and fume in silence, Han Li knew he had the man completely cowed. His own courage swelled. Han Li decided to ride the tiger's bluff all the way to the end. With the wind-walking technique active, he blurred forward, appearing directly before the dwarf. Seeing Han Li appear so suddenly, Golden Light Master's fear intensified. He couldn't help but take a few steps back.
What are you doing? I haven't seized the mines here, nor have I taken any spirit herbs or mesons. I'm merely collecting some gold from mortals. This doesn't infringe on your clan's interests at all. Why are you trying to kill me?
And who might you be? Why did you actively involve yourself in mortal affairs and disrupt the local secular order? It's causing our family quite a bit of trouble.
Hearing the other party's gentle tone, which seemed to hold no intention of attacking him, the dwarf's spirits immediately lifted. His two small eyes darted around a few times before he hurriedly demurred.
I'm a disciple of the Yi family from Chinyi Ridge. I'm just passing through. I have some old ties with the leader of the Wild Wolf Gang, so I couldn't refuse his earnest request to lend a hand. I absolutely had no intention of deliberately offending your esteemed family. I hope you can forgive me, brother. May I ask the name of your esteemed family? I will certainly pay a formal visit to apologize.
As he mentioned that he too was a member of the Yi family, the dwarf couldn't help but puff out his chest, as if he'd suddenly found his backbone, and his voice grew noticeably more confident. Seeing the dwarf's courage swell in an instant, Han Li knew the Qinye Ridge Ye clan must be a renowned and illustrious cultivation family.
If he truly has such a powerful clan backing him, yet was so terrified of me at first, it means he's either lying, or he's just an insignificant nobody within his own family, someone whose life or death wouldn't raise an eyebrow. Getting rid of him won't cause much trouble.
This deduction swept away the last shred of Han Li's hesitation. His killing intent grew only more intense. After all, a cultivator whose magic power is inferior to your own and whose behavior is so idiotic is a rare find indeed. Even without this death match, Han Li would never have let this prey that walked right into his hands get away. And judging by his words and actions, he was no saint either. That made it even easier for Han Li to act without hesitation.
The Kinling Ye clan, the one with the far-reaching reputation.
That's the one. Since you're aware of the Yi family's reputation, I trust you won't deliberately make things difficult for me.
The Yi clan. All right, I'll take you to see the elders of the clan. They'll decide how to handle this. What do you think?
No need for all that trouble. It's just a minor matter. If you need your elders to decide on such a trivial matter, it's bound to leave a poor impression on your superiors. It could seriously hinder your future prospects.
At this point, the Golden Light Master had completely written Han Li off as a greenhorn who'd never seen the world. He figured the kid was the type who'd been cooped up at home cultivating since childhood and had only just come out into the mortal world to gain experience. That explained why someone so young possessed such profound magic power.
Thank you for the reminder. We've only just met, yet you're already looking out for me. Then I'll return this treasure to you as it is.